Hello, my name is Michael Segreto, and I am a student here at Ashford University's online campus. For my final project, Professor Goss asked us to pick from 3 different scenarios, and I chose the scenario to interview from the part of an employee asked to interview for the job of a lead teacher in an elementary school. So this is my interview. Hello all. I am Michael Segreto, and I am currently an assistant teacher at Frenchtown Elementary School located in Trumbull, Connecticut. I have the honor to teach in Miss Gaspar's second grade classroom. She has taught me a lot about teaching, and I am now ready to lead my own first grade classroom. Unfortunately, Frenchtown has suffered some harsh times recently, and I believe that we can turn that all around and make Frenchtown the positive, strong learning community it once was. Culture of universal achievement. It's very important for Frenchtown to take part in. Damien Lopez defines the culture of universal achievement as when it takes place as a critical mass of the staff believes that each student is capable of meeting academic standards in reading, writing, and math, as well as having the school to have the power to make that opportunity a reality. The reason why Frenchtown should take part in this culture is simple. For the equality of the students. No matter what they look like, where they come from, or what they believe in, it is crucial that the administration and staff at Frenchtown has the same goals and standards for each student. And those goals should be to just teach the kids and have them learn something when they walk out the doors every day. So there are 4 main skills that each teacher that's teaching in the 21st century should have, and that is communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. I will use communication to let my students know that they can come to me for anything, not just for help with the assessments and for their homework. I will collaborate with other first grade teachers to come up with different ideas about assessments and bounce off each other's intelligence to come up with field trips and group activities and other things that are worth planning. Everyone should use critical thinking in their jobs, and I also plan to do so in my teaching. It is important to ask my students specific questions that answer the who, the what, and the where of the topics. But what I really want them to know is the why. Why is this specific event taking place, and why are we acknowledging it, and why are we teaching them that? To be an elementary school teacher, one must have a creative mind. I'm proud to say that I am very creative in my work, and I believe that creativity and learning can meet when the students is done with their emotions. I believe that structure leads to success, and that is why I plan to use a management plan for my classroom. I plan to set up standards on the first day of class by making this poster and putting it on a clear wall for all my students and anyone who enters my room. Richard Newman, scholar and author of Teaching and Learning in 21st Century, advises that a successful classroom management plan should not only advise students to follow the set of rules, but also emphasizes learning. So I believe that my 7 rules do so. I want them to be kind to each other and not be afraid to ask questions to me. I want them to know that it's a safe environment, and with no running or yelling and raising their hand and listening carefully. That goes with any traditional school rules and classroom rules. And I want them to also try their hardest and to work smart. I don't want to tell them to work hard, because I feel like that saying is a little discouraging, but I want them to work smart, to know their limits and to know what they are capable of doing and what they sometimes may not be capable of, what they need help with doing. We all know the saying, 2 heads is better than 1. And I believe that definitely goes a long way with teaching as well. Damien Lopez, author of No Excuses University, states that there are 5 areas of focus when it comes to teacher collaboration, and that is clarity of purpose, respectful of time banking, professional growth, and building candid professional relationships. I believe that we all worked very hard for the positions that we are in, and we all have something to bring to the table. And we all have brilliant ideas that we can bounce off of each other. So, standards alignment. Damien Lopez also points out that there is a roadmap that can that teachers can follow with 4 steps: identify specific skills, assessments, instructional methods, and resources. So for example, I might introduce my students to the topic of verbs. This can, first I will identify an objective that I want them to be able to identify verbs in their reading, writing, and in their everyday speech. And then I will come up with assessments such as worksheets for them to do every day and for their homework. And then for instructional methods, I just want them to be able to acknowledge that verbs are something that they will be speaking, writing, reading every day for the rest of their life. It is very important that we acknowledge that everyone learns differently. And according to Dr. Howard Gardner, there are 8 intelligences: visual spatial, linguistic verbal, interpersonal, linguistic mathematical, musical, bodily kinesthetic, and naturalistic. It's very important because everyone learns differently, and we should teach our kids that that a certain topic might not work for another child, and that's okay. But we need to kind of make sure that each lesson is catering to these different types of intelligences that our students are. Instructional plan is also very important. The backwards design is very different from the traditional way of teaching because, as the name suggests, it works backwards from the traditional way. One lesson plan I plan to teach my students is the 4 types of sentences that they will be writing in class and pretty much for the rest of their lives. We know that the 4 types are declarative, interrogational, exclamatory, and imperative. So we want to do that, and that would be identify the results that we want them. We want them to know the 4 types of results and be able to identify these results. Determining acceptance evidence, and this goes with worksheets, homework, planning, experiences, and instruction. These are learning activities. One learning activity that we can do is write some sentences on the board and have them come up individually and identify which kind of sentence it is. Assessments can be split up into 2 ways: formative and summative. Formative promotes ongoing reflections and is used to quickly adjure teaching and learning, while summative evaluates learning through students' performance at the end of the academic year. I will have my students take short quizzes at the end of each week that are based on the homework and the classwork that we did together. In addition to this, I'll make in-time class for my students to work in groups for the final project at the end of the year. I feel that a group project will be best for first graders because I think individually they might have a little hard time doing. My plan to keep track for each student's profession, create assignments, and address knowledge, skill, and understanding that is indeed to measure and provide different ways of teaching the material if one way is not working. Data is also very important, as you can see from the 6 different examples that I give. And one thing that I believe data does is track progression. We can, by recording students' grades and their performance, and whether it's their, just their performance basically. One pitfall that data can have is that some teachers might feel a little embarrassed to share their students' progression because maybe there isn't that as much progression as there should be. And with that, we need to just be aware that we are here for the students' progression, and we are here for them to get ready for the next grade and to get ready for the real world. And as long as we have that in mind, we shouldn't be concerned about what another teacher might say or what another teacher is teaching in their class. And we also need to have open communication with each other and make Frenchtown not only free of judgment for the students, but free of judgment for the teachers. I believe that I am the best fit for a lead teacher in a first grade classroom. I gave you guys, as you can see from my slide, a list of reasons why I think so. but I believe that I am meant to be a teacher. I've always loved teaching. I've always loved being around students and children, and I just want to be able to give the same inspiration that I got in my years as a student and pass it along to kids. And some of the best people in my life that I remember today were my teachers, and I want to be able to be that solid foundation for these kids. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Have a great day.